Hey, what is up, guys? Flex Media here, bringing you yet another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. Now, okay, so it was one of my most recent videos. We took Raditz into Super Battle Road, and we absolutely just, crushed it. Just annihilated Super Battle Road, right? So Raditz, he's got this insane passive, and he is quite literally, the way they did it, it seems like with this newest celebration, they quite literally made one new unit dominant against Super Battle Road in Raditz, and then they made one unit in Bardock dominant against Legendary Goku, and then, Infinite Dragon Ball History, of course, as well. So we are obviously here, if you couldn't tell by now, in Pure Saiyans Super Battle Road. And I do want to highlight Raditz, but also, I do want to highlight the rest of this team, because it's actually quite good. Just the way that it is designed, it is, it's just infallible to damage. It's just indestructible, right? So once we get our rotations going and kind of get, everything set up, you don't take damage. So right now, the rotations, you can probably tell they are going to be similar from my last video, and it's going to be Turles and Raditz, and then this SS3 Vegeta, Superman, and then the Super Saiyan 3 Xeno Goku. So Raditz and Turles are obviously going to share Prepared for Battle, and then Over in a Flash is going to be at the SS3s, right? I mean, all SS3s essentially, except for Tech Broly, and like the Fizz SS3 Vegeta without an awakening, the one that was a global exclusive for a long time, I believe he doesn't have Prepared for Battle. I think he only... I'm sorry, I don't think he has Over in a Flash. I think he has Prepared for Battle, although I'd have to double check that. But anyway, guys, so the way that it works out, so right here, here's Raditz. He's under 1 million, but keep in mind at this point, he's getting guaranteed stuns. That is, yeah, you heard that right. Guaranteed stuns. So he's got a guaranteed one-turn stun. And then essentially he's got a 50-50 chance of getting you a 2-turn stun when you're up against 2 or more enemies. Which obviously Super Battle Road, like, you're almost exclusively up against more than one enemy. Except in the rare fight. So like the Gogeta, in the Fusion stage, in the Vegito, in the Potara stage, etc., right? The Ultimate Gohan, I think that's the Transformation Boost stage, I believe. So anyway, that ability is going to come into play almost the entire event. So right now, Turles is giving Ki. That's why everyone's able to super. And we're pushing him off rotation. But Raditz, man, so when he's up against 2 or more enemies, he has Ki 2, and then attack and defense 100%. That's active always, right? And then he's getting 50% damage reduction and a guaranteed chance to stun. And remember, when a stun is from your passive, it is only a 1-turn stun. But then on his super attack, he's got a high chance to stun, which is a 50% chance. And then, oh yeah, by the way, he infinitely stacks attack on his super as well. So that seems to be a big fad that's kind of going on in Dokkan right now, is like this ability of units to do many things on their super attack. So, when I kind of remember it, I mean, yeah, I think there are some like LRs and stuff that do it as well, but like, do you remember when they put Krillin into the Baba Shop? And then, of course, 18 as well, but Krillin infinitely stacks defense, and then of course he has a high chance to stun as well, so it's just like I think that was the point when I felt like it started to become very, very common for units to do more than one thing on their super attacks. So Raditz, again, up in this phase, or in this stage of Super Battle Road, when we're constantly up against 2 or more enemies, it's just like, we're able to keep them stun locked essentially permanently. And if there's ever a chance where they're not stunned, Raditz has 50% damage reduction. SS3 Xeno Goku, he's got damage reduction, and he's got his guard permanently active. And also, I mean, just straight up, he's getting attack and defense 100%. You've got SS3 Vegeta. He's got insane damage reduction, for the first 10 turns, I think. And then by the way, all of those units stun. You know, and then also, I don't know if Ink Kid Goku, I don't remember if he gets any stuns, but he's got a medium chance to stun. So this whole team is really centered around the stun. And honestly, if you guys have all of these units, you can easily no item this. This is first try. This is like, you know, the other day I mentioned in my video, I'm like, you know, I think this is the team to no item this stage. And the only difference is instead of having a transforming Fizz Vegeta as my leader, I went ahead and just switched it to Evolution Blue Vegeta, because I maintain, I do not care what anyone else says, sorry is what it is. In short events, you know, especially in something where the units are hitting you so insanely hard, you know, in something like Super Battle Road, you just have these units that, you know, just keep coming and coming and coming. And you need that extra defense. So if you've got Evolution Blue Vegeta as your leader, I mean, you know, for pure Saiyans anyway, you know, you're getting an additional 40% defense, you know, and if you're talking about running something like Goku's family, you know, you're getting an additional 80% defense over a Goku's family lead, you know, the SS4 Goku, right? So I would argue that here's the thing. So where I think HP really comes into play is in the long events. So in the Legendary Goku event, for instance, you've got units, you know, for instance, the new AGL Bardock, right? If you run him on Goku's family, well, he's got the whole fight to stack his defense, so you missing out on 80% defense from the leader skill isn't going to make a lot of difference if you're stacking it the entire fight. You know, and then the way that the Legendary Goku event is set up, the enemy gets harder and harder and harder, you know, the deeper into the event you go, right? So something like the newer stages, I believe stage 3 and 4 is against Goku's family and Vegeta's family. Actually, the enemies are tough right in the middle. So before, you know, it's actually more toward the beginning even. And then even in 5 and 6 as well, some of the enemies in the beginning are harder than at the end. So like the Goku and Vegeta's family, you basically coast to victory, you know, so like, anyway. I'm simply saying, like, when you're able to stack up your defense like that, you don't need an additional 80% from your leaders, you know, so I just do want you to keep in mind, that's basically the conclusion that I have come to. Of course, I would love to hear your opinion in the comments below. You know, I know people are obsessed with having 600,000 HP. I get it. You know, it's a nice, sexy number. But you don't need it. Now, I will say that the one exception to this, so, like, the one that comes to mind is, like, we finally have our rotation set, by the way, I might add. But the one exception that comes to mind is, like, the STR Kaioken Goku, the blue Kaioken Goku, the one we got in December. His team is so lacking in LRs that you're sitting there, you know, essentially like 350k HP, and that is not enough. You know, that's the thing, is like we actually are we rocking any LRs on this team? We are not, but it doesn't matter because, you know, we have this 170% to HP in defense, so we are absolutely stacked. I mean, defensively, we're stacked. If you're ever trying to do, you know, pure Saiyan type, you know, no item runs and stuff, that is for sure the build you want. I'm sorry, there's no other option here. You want that extra defense, because even Fizz transforming Vegeta, you know, he's only giving you 150%. So, and then again, here we are. We do have our rotation set, and we did get the Turles transformation. Now, actually, so I mentioned it again in that last video, is like Turles transforming in Super Battle Road is actually a good thing, you know, because here we're not really utilizing Raditz for his ability to stack attack and then to get, you know, very, very high attack stats, right? Because he's not getting that additional attack and defense 100% when you're up against only one enemy. You know, he's only getting attack and defense 100%, and then his 50% damage reduction, so he's a defensive wall. And you're going to see that later on in the event. Even against Int Goku Jr., he just takes nothing. He takes no damage, and it is insane to watch. It's truly like, it's a splendor. This dude, I just am The more and more I think about how broken they made him, I mean, I'm just more and more in awe about it. You know, it's just crazy. But Turles, man, so when he transforms, you know, he gets, I think it's attack and defense 130%, and then he's got a high chance to stun, and then he heals you at the beginning of the turn. You know, so like he's really, really solid, you know, for Super Battle Road. Legendary Goku, of course, he's going to be exposed. You know, you generally want either really, really strong units or, you know, units that stack defense. So, but in Super Battle Road, man, this is his place. This is his place. You know, and then of course when he's untransformed, he still has that medium chance to stun. You know, so he's still really, really solid. And then of course he's providing that 40% attack and 3 ki. Still to this day, one of the very best support units in the game. Only really surpassed by like some of the newer ones, right? So like for instance, like, well, I don't even know if you. It's kind of hard to make comparisons. At a certain point, it's like apples and oranges, right? I mention that all the time. Well, there's the additional. You always want to give this guy additionals, right? So we'll talk about him in a bit. But Turles, man, he's like the original transformation unit. He's not on transformation boost, which I do understand. You know, but he does so much to the team, and you could argue that other support units might be better. So like for instance, Int Mai comes to mind. She's providing attack, defense, and ki. 40% attack, defense, and then 2 ki to time travelers. But this guy, he's just an all-around support unit, no matter what team he's on. You know, Terrifying Conquerors, for instance, that's a really nice spot for him, honestly. You know, movie bosses, pure Saiyans. I mean, he's dominant, right? You know, and Int Mai is very, very specific. And then you've got another unit that comes to mind, like the Supreme Kai or the Supreme Oppai of Time. If you don't know what Oppai means, by the way, it just means boobs. So anyway, just in case you didn't know that, but the Supreme Oppai of Time, she has this, you know, insane, crazy support passive. So she seals on her super attack. So of course that's helpful in Super Battle Road, right? Or in any event where the enemy can be sealed. And she's providing attack, defense, and ki. I think she's giving, is it 3 ki, 30% attack and defense, and then she's got a high chance to provide an additional 12% attack, defense, and crit. So she's providing, potentially at her best, 42% attack, defense, and then 3 ki, and then a 12% for all of your allies to crit. So, I mean, that's ludicrous, right? I mean, if you really think about how crazy that is. And then not for nothing, she massively raises defense on her super attack. So if you've got dupes into her, she's viable on any single team. You know, even like in Legendary Goku event, she is viable. She's very, very, very good. So imagine, you know, putting her like on rotation with someone like Fizz Vegito Blue, for instance, on that Realm of Gods team or on the Potara team. She's just like, so you're giving that man an additional chance to crit and giving him 42% additional attack and defense. It's just like, get out of here, dude. You know, and the teams she's on, that's, again, kind of what makes her so good. By the way, we did just get all 7 nodes for the Dokkan attack. I was sort of trying to stall the Dokkan attack. I just, after a while, I figured it just wasn't really possible. You know, we did end up getting a big shot there on Gohan. And then Gotenks is about to go down as well. I think this turn, I think Int Kid Goku takes him down. But, so Int Kid Goku's very, very good. But I do want to talk about, I said I would talk about SS3 Vegeta. So, you know, he's a unit that I've talked about over and over again. And I affectionately call him Superman. He's so incredibly good and versatile. And if you're trying to do no item runs, any team you can fit him on, you want to run him on. Because he gets damage reduction. I believe it is 80% damage reduction for the first 10 turns from the start of turn. And he's got a high chance to stun the enemy on his super. And then also, if the target enemy is stunned, then he gets a massive 120% attack buff. So you're going to see his attack stat vary from about 700k to like 2 million. And that's why. So there was Raditz taking next to nothing from type disadvantage on Super Battle Road. That is so insanely impressive if you guys have ever run Super Battle Road. I mean, you saw early in the fight Evolution Blue Vegeta, who's like a high-level Dokkan Fest exclusive. He was taking 35 and 40k on normals, so, and that was just type neutral. So, you know, this dude to take only 15k on just on a type disadvantage normal attack is insane. And if you were to pop an item, like let's say you pop an Icarus item, all of a sudden it's like you go from having 50% to 85% damage reduction, and you don't even take damage on supers. So if any of you are struggling with Super Battle Road, definitely bring this dude on any team you can possibly run him on. But anyway, guys, we were talking about SS3 Vegeta. There's not much more to know. He's just extremely versatile with his ability to be a defensive wall, and then he stuns. And he can do some insane damage once he stuns the enemy. And that, of course, is why you want to give him additional. So, like, number one, if he supers and doesn't get the stun, he's got a chance to super again and then stun. Or if you stun him on the first time and then he supers, he gets a massive attack buff. So I'd wager on a Super Saiyan 3 team, if you put him in between two Bardoks, you know, he'd probably get you a 3.5 million attack stat or something, you know, bonkers like that. I mean, he's that good. And here we are, guys. So, you know, I haven't talked about everyone on the team. I feel like a lot of them are pretty self-explanatory. Int Kid Goku, I've been using him a lot more lately now that I have dupes in mind. I managed to pull 3 copies on that cooler banner. And oddly enough, he's on this current Bardock banner as well, which is weird. I'm trying to decide what I want to do here. If I want to go for the stun on Kid Vegeta or Kid Goku. I remember I was having a tough time deciding. I went with Kid Vegeta, or Vegeta Jr., excuse me. I ended up going with that just to make sure that they stay stun locked, and then we're pretty close to being able to take them down. But Int Kid Goku, we actually didn't even fall low enough in our HP to see his active skill or to see him get his guaranteed crits. But he's getting attack, defense, and ki every time he comes onto the battlefield. So beyond turn 1, you know, he essentially is not going to have a tough time supering. The only time he will is on turn 1. It is what it is. He's got the guidance of the Dragon Balls and the Incredible Adventure, which makes him optimal on his own team, right? Because, you know, the Dragon Ball Saga and Youth Team, there's a lot of units that have those links. So I always get them confused, but I believe it's the Incredible Adventure is the 2 key link, and just no other Pure Saiyan has it. Not really. I can't think of any right offhand. So you're not really going to be able to link him up that way. And then the guidance of the Dragon Balls is a 20% attack link, and again, no one has it on the Pure Saiyans team. So he's not optimal on a Pure Saiyans team. But I brought him along because of that active skill, and then he is, of course, like as his HP dips, or as our team HP dips, he gets better defensively. And then when your HP is very high, which actually it was throughout the duration of this event, his attack is going to be higher. So overall, he's just a really, really good unit. He is low-key like a top 10 TUR or something. He's really, really good. I like him a lot. It just sucks that you can't really run him on his other teams. You can run him on Pure Saiyans. As you see, he does fine. But, you know, it's just optimal to run him on his own team. There's Turles transforming again. Again, not a big deal. We're not upset about that for sure, because he just healed us as well. So look at that. Yeah, healed us almost up to full. So, Int Kid Goku, very good. I've talked time and time again about Evolution Blue Vegeta. You know, up until he transforms into Blue, Evolution Blue, he's stacking defense, 7% every time he attacks, up to 70%. And then once he transforms, he's stacking crit, you know, all the way up to 70% again. So if you've got crit in the potential system for him as well, like if you've got a Rainbow and you have 15 crit in him, you know, essentially he's got an 85% chance to crit, which is aka damn near a guaranteed chance to crit. So he's very, very good, especially when he transforms into Blue. But just make sure he is a little stronger defensively before he transforms. But on this team, and he's able to stack his defense like this, and he's got that big 170% buff. Yeah, he's very, very solid and a very, very good leader for the Pure Saiyans team. We are about to wrap things up. I think the one unit I have not talked about a lot anyway is the Xeno SS3 Goku. So he's getting attack and defense 100%. And then he's got a high chance to stun on his super attack, which makes him, again, just a super Battle Road killer, right? But what makes him so good is this permanent guard ability he has. So his guard is active against all attacks. It's not just like eliminating the enemy's guard or something goofy. He's got guard against all attacks like Int Janemba. Which is what makes him so good, right? And then he does also get damage reduction, 7% per Dragon Ball Heroes ally on the team. So right now it's just him. But potentially there are quite a few Pure Saiyans, actually. We could have brought Cumber. We could have brought... free-to-play Cumber, probably not. He's not... doesn't really hold up in Super Battle Road. But we definitely could have brought SS3 Vegeta as well. They link up incredibly well. I think the only link they don't share is, like, I think Vegeta has Prodigies and then Goku has Kamehameha, I think. But they're both shattering the limit units, so, you know, they're always going to be supering. And then there's Raditz with his... That was just a stun from his super attack, by the way. And then here's Turles, man. He's about to finish it up for us. But that Xeno SS3 Goku, man, is honestly, again, one of these units, just like a top TUR in the game, just kind of low-key. He's so good defensively, and you saw him hitting, you know, 1.5 million attack stats and stuff, so... But there you have it, guys. The no item run for Pure Saiyans is in the books. Again, if you have any semblance of this team, you're going to be able to do it yourself. Even if you don't have all these units rainbowed or anything, you're going to be able to do just fine. There we are right there. But especially if you have Raditz, he's the one who made it possible. But slap a like if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing if you're new, and I will catch all of you in the next one. Later.